Let's meet our guest for today. Like as usual, before we bring her up, I need to read her biography for you guys so you know the caliber. You understand the caliber of person we are bringing on the show tonight. So let's stay tuned. Our guest for tonight is Jamila Mohammed Dahiru. She has a BA and MSc degree in mass communication from BUK and AB in Zaria. Currently a PhD student at BUK. BUK means Bayero University, Kano. She lectures at the Department of Mass Communication, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. She is a member of Association of Communication Scholars and Professionals of Nigeria, African Council of Communication Educationists, and Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. As a social advocate, Jamila Dahiru engages in community services. She is the founder of Almajiri Health Awareness Initiative, avidreaders.com initiative, board member Visionary Young Nigerian Leaders Initiative, and a member Jewel Environmental Initiative of Nigeria. This selfless commitment led to her appointment as Secretary Knowledge Management and Communication, Subcommittee of Kaduna Maternal Accountability Mechanism, (KADMA), Team Lead, Kaduna Public Procurement Monitors, Member Open Government Partnership Kaduna, and among host of others. Among host of others. You can imagine the caliber we are having. Jamila Dahiru has published several articles in international and local journal books. Her research areas include media and society, development, communication, and governance. She was a research consultant with Reboot, Public and Private Development Center, and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, all on works around roles of media in accountability and good governance in Nigeria. Jamila Dahiru was recognized and awarded the Best Participant Accelerate Labs, an enterprise initiative of the Future Project at Microsoft Nigeria, Best Supporter of TEDx Ahmadu Bello University, and Proprietors Award Distinguished Service by Saidu Abubakar Memorial School, Kaduna, where she once served as the Pioneer College Principal. Amazing. She was a member organizing committee of several workshops, talk show, symposiums, dinner, and awards, as well as conferences. Currently, she is in partnership with CEDAW, Code, Follow Taxes, DRPC, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Kaduna, and the Kaduna State Government. Also, she's in partnership with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Jamila Dahiru has attended several trainings, seminars, workshops around media, leadership, research, and social issues. She also presented several papers at conferences and workshops, both home and abroad. Jamila is widely traveled and at her leisure and entrepreneurial time indulges in photography. My people, with a round of applause and a beautiful standing ovation. Make welcome our guest for tonight, Jamila Dahiru. Please keep clapping, keep clapping. Finally, meet our guest for tonight. Good to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming. We're so grateful. How are you doing? How was your day?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me.
You're
I'm glad I'm
welcome.
here.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. We believe your profile is one that is inspiring because while reading your profile, I was like, wow, how can this woman have all this and be here and be there at the same time? How do you manage to cope with everything?
Exactly.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, so your profile indicates that you have an initiative, the Almajiri Health Awareness Initiative. What is it all about?
Okay, so Almajiri Health Awareness Initiative started as Almajiri Support, which is providing support for the Almajiri children.
Okay, so let's cut it short here. Who are the Almajiris?
Okay,
Who do we
Almajiri.
refer to as Almajiri?
Almajiri.
Where do they come from?
Okay, so the Latin meaning, let me put it this way, is any child on the street.
Okay.
But I think the correct meaning of al-Majiri refers to those children that are taken by their parents to go to conventional Islamic schools where they learn under the supervision of madam, which is referred to as mu'allim, kind of. So the parents, just like parents taking their children to boarding school to study Western education, you have also parents from the northern part of the country, especially in the rural areas, taking their children to study under the supervision of the madam in a faraway place. So they are under the custody of the madam studying, however, with the harsh condition of the country, and because the system is not systemized, let me put it this way, it's not like systemized because we can't say it's not operational, we're having it here. You don't have close monitoring and supervision, and you don't have these people having access to quality Islamic
Education.
education that they are even there for. So at the end of the day, they end up on the streets, hawking and begging, and then maybe missing out a better part of their lives, not acquiring the Islamic education that their parents sent them to go get, and also not attaining the basic, um, maybe skills and other things that will help them become better humans in their future life.
Okay, so before I allow you continue from how you started,
Yeah.
the Al-Majri school you're talking about, is it different from the Islamia that they go to?
Yes, slightly different
Okay.
because for the Islamia you have schools being built and then you have malams. It's a bit systemized. And when we started schools as young children, we actually attended elementary schools where you have malams stationed in one place, and then we are sent from our parents' house in the evening, for instance, and mornings to go study and go back home. Now, when we talk about elementary school, it is where you have these children taken to these malams' houses to study. The malams might not have necessarily have
A
um,
building.
a building, yes, called the school,
Yeah.
but then his house
So
maybe.
he accommodates
He
them in his
accommodates them
house.
in his house, and perhaps might not have a routine morning, evening breakfast or lunch time for them
Okay.
to feed them. I mean, so they go out to bake maybe.
So is it part of
So
the
it's not.
process to beg and to go out looking for food in the
So
Al-Majri side?
so initially it's not.
Okay.
It's actually that parents should send their children with all that is required for them to study, to
Okay.
just concentrate. So you send them to schools with food and have clothes, and then maybe even pay the
A
madam.
fee.
Yeah. So then
You got abused along the
yes,
line.
along the line.
Okay, so let's go
So it
back to
started
how did you
actually very
start?
fine. Yeah. So I started, I would say, back when I was young, quite young.
How young?
Yes, I was in just three.
Wow.
Yeah, so I can't remember exactly how I started, but I know that I was so interested in how these small children are actually living without their parents. I go to their places and then peep through the window, you understand, to see the houses. And sometimes my mom I will come back and tell my mom, and then we get money from her by slippers and all to give these kids. And I remember while I was taken to boarding school, that's when I was going to SS1. My mom said that they used to come to ask about me to even cry.
Oh,
So that was how I started. Then, after that, I got married, and then I had this advisory under my care. When you have you're around and then you have these managers coming to you to beg for food, and then you send them.
you picked interest in
Yes, so then
one.
you pick interest in one. I had this one, and then I noticed that he had interest in Western education, although he was a little bit older. So I mean, like at that age, he was almost 11 or 12. But he said he's okay, that he was okay to go even back to primary school.
Wow.
So I picked him, and then I enrolled him in school, and then we started. And today he's a graduate.
Wow.
So I'm so proud of him, and look at
I'm
him
actually
and
proud of
20.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then along the way, some of them do come around to say, oh, I also want to go to school. And some of them will come to ask for, maybe I want to help you do this one, do this, so you pay me. And I noticed something that struck me at that time. It was about how they are not being taken care of in terms of their health. One of them died, and
Oh,
then we noticed in the school that Adi was, and then we noticed that he died of hepatitis B. And it struck me that, okay, are these people even aware of these diseases that we have in our as a world? Let me put it this, because it's everywhere. And the kind of awareness we're having at that time, it was all over the media. You're having people talk about hepatitis B, talk about HIV, talk about other diseases, even malaria, cholera,
yes,
etc. But we use the media, or sometimes we go to schools, primary schools, secondary schools. Do we go to those elementary schools to say that, oh, please let's create awareness, let's
they
tell
are
these
actually
children?
ignored.
Yes, they are being ignored. And when I asked them about the incidents of that child at Dahiru, they told me that they were at the hospital actually, but they were not attended. So, and I started observing. I go to hospitals to see if you can see these children even going to hospitals. So even though I agree that they have, at that time I know that they had issues with their cultural beliefs, and which is also kind of tricky, because even our religion asks us to go seek for help. You get it?
Yes.
But then you have them saying, "Oh, our madam said that
So
we
they've been
shouldn't."
kind of like brainwashed.
Yes, so they don't even know, and they are not even allowed to do that,
Wow.
and they feel like even if they go, they will not be listened to. So they feel like they're being rejected. You understand?
Yeah.
So we started the awareness. My sister is a medical doctor, and so I spoke to her. That, okay, can we do something like this? Can we start it from Bauchi? And then meanwhile I'm doing it here, one day we can come over and talk to these people. Then we started organizing like talk shows kind of.
Mm.
Then we go to these almajiris, we talk to them. But there's no trust. You understand? The kind of suspicion of they
Where
were
you're
kind of
coming from, what are you
suspicious,
about to
yes, what
do?
are you
Yes.
about to do? And that these people have been coming to us, they will tell us stories and then they will just go. Nobody is giving us access, nobody is coming back
To
to
continue
check on
from
us.
where, yeah, like a follow up.
Exactly. So I thought I should do something in a different way. So we started with during Ramadan, which is a fasting period for the Muslims. We organized this like okay, so we started on Fridays. On Fridays we cook food. Normally Muslims do give
Sadaka.
sadaqahs on Fridays. So when they come, I'll tell them that okay, I have this need. I want you to help me pray to God. And then while we pray, I will say, okay, let's eat together. You get it?
Yeah.
So they come to my house, not that I go to their place. So they kind of listen to me, and then I
You
saw
created
that
like a trust
yes,
kind
yes,
of,
there is
yeah.
this trust. They come to me and they listen, and I also noticed that some of the small kids actually improve on them washing their clothes, etc. But then they complain that they don't have the soap, you
Yeah.
understand, and the detergents, or sometimes they don't even rub creams
Creams.
on their bodies. So, so we now shifted our kind of a campaign to providing those small kits, kind
For
of a
them.
hygiene kit for them during Ramadan, and then when we go to them, we seek the approval of their madams, we talk to them in a gathering kind of, and then we share those stuff to them, so we encourage them to always keep their um, health a priority kind of, if not for them to know about the diseases, because sometimes you speak big words to them, you understand, but even keeping their hygiene, keeping their bodies clean, washing
Yeah.
their clothes, so that's how it all started.
Wow, that's really amazing. Like I've been like you just enlightened me on the Almajiris, and we normally see them on the streets and we're just saying, okay, these people are just beggars. But coming from a different
Yeah.
perspective, it's actually beautiful. So what kind of perspective do you think their parents have? Like knowing that their children are on the street. Is that they get comfortable with their children being on the street, or how?
Unfortunately, they are. Most of these children are even comfortable here. They don't
Wow.
want to go back home. You speak to them about going back home, they'll say no. I remember when we had this COVID and this big thing about banning Almaty, I
Yeah.
was so happy about it. And then I go to those schools and they saw them going back. But then still,
Yeah,
I
back
see them
again.
around. Yes,
So they usually come from different states.
they come
They
from
migrate.
different areas. Yes,
So they are not
states
basically
even
here.
not here. So that's where we are even having this misconception because you see people on the street begging, you think that they are Almajiris. They are different people. Some of these beggars on the street are actually coming from their houses, their
Wow.
parents' houses, yes. But we also have the Almajiris situated in Almajiri schools, which are my priority or my target for
Wow.
the Almajiri Awareness Initiative. Even though if we can see those ones on the street, we do talk to them, or we go to those schools because at least we have a place where we can have them converged in an area. And so I'm saying about the parents that most of them are actually comfortable. They are comfortable that their children are out there, and you cannot blame them because some of these people are actually poor, very poor, that they cannot even.
But
So sometimes they have this notion that they are actually reducing the burden. Do you get it? So enlightenment should start from the parents because they do send them out. And for the kids, when you move out of your village and then you are now
in the
in a
city,
city, you understand you can sleep, you can go out, play around. They're just you see them going back home and then coming back to their Almajiri school saying that
they're
they are
happy
learning,
there.
they're happy there, yes. And so parents comfortable with that, I think they are. That's why they are sending them. Is it the right thing to do? I think
Absolutely
no.
no.
And you ask them themselves, they know that it's not actually the right thing to do because you are exposing these children to sort of dangers.
But as in talking about them not being comfortable, you're poor, but you give birth to like 10 children. So where did we get it wrong? How are we getting it wrong?
Absolutely,
Where?
absolutely. It's from that start, giving birth to children that you cannot get help from. And you go back to talk to these people, they tell you that it is allowed in their religion, it is about their culture and all. And so that's why we are having these people, this awareness around that's not actually true. If you remember the case with the Bruhaha with the Sanusi,
Yes.
who actually was bold enough to come out say
And
this
they
is
attacked him.
un-Islamic,
Yeah.
and that's the reality. It is un-Islamic. You have a responsibility for your children. In fact, God will ask you tomorrow. He caught verses. We quoted one verses. He still do. You understand? If you ask him tomorrow, he will still tell you the stance because it is in the Quran. It is in the Ahadith. It is everywhere. It is clear that you don't just give birth to children you cannot get and then send them out. This is why we
Yeah.
are having all these issues.
We'll be going on a quick break now. We'll be back shortly. Please stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Out is here on the 30th of September 2021. Get your friends and family prepared to be amazed. We will be learning on relationships, sex, career, and family. Come and be inspired, especially if you are a young girl out there. And guess what? It is open to everyone and it is free. We can't wait to see you on the 30th of September 2021, 2 p.m. West African time at Castle's 1000 seater. Come on, come all. See you there.
Welcome back. Hope you'll be at the Lord's Hangout on the 30th of September. You can't afford to miss this one. Be there, be there, be there. So going back to our discussion, over the years of working with this Almajiri people, you niched your focus to the health sector. So what are the common diseases that are prone to this Almajiris?
Yeah. So we've noticed I mentioned the hepatitis,
Yes.
and that's why I took interest in it. But majority of them do have this malaria and the typhoid. Majority of the disease that I would say is
It's common.
yes among them is the malaria. Malaria, because of their exposure, they don't even have closed rooms kind of.
Wow.
Some of the rooms doesn't have they don't have windows, and then hardly do they even know about maybe fumigating or fleeting the place, You don't even have access to those things. So, and then typhoid because of the kind of food that they do eat. And then you have some of them, actually, when we conducted a research in 2015, yes, on reproductive health. We wanted to know if these children who have all these issues with sexually transmitted
Yes.
diseases, and surprisingly, they do.
Wow. Okay, well,
Yes.
I was going to ask actually, do we have female almajiris? Because most of the almajiris I see are male. And I know you're talking
Male.
about,
Unfortunately, now we have almajiri female schools.
wow.
So I visited one in Bauchi. I also saw one here in Kaduna.
Wow.
Even though their own is a little bit organized, kind of. Let me, if it is, if it,
If
there's
there's
a
an
word for
okay.
that, organized. But at least the children, the female are inside. You understand?
So they don't beg on the streets.
They do go out to do small works, not to beg. So they do go out to do small works, and not that I saw that actually, but I'm suspecting that some of them might do that. You get it because you just allow them to go out to get something and come back. So they have that, and I think it's common with one particular sect of our Islamic religion that they do allow these female almajiris.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, having noticed these diseases that are common with the almajiris, have you tried reaching out to hospitals? Have you made an enlightenment in the hospitals to allow those people get access to health facilities? Because the narrative we have about almajiri people is that they are less humans. So imagine the concept of having a less human appear in the hospital for treatment and the doctor rejecting those people or not even attending to them. What enlightenment have you done towards
Yeah,
that?
so that's why I said we started with the campaign, and the campaign we divided kind of really, um, how do I put it? We segmented our stakeholders for the for the campaign. We have those targeted at those responsible for these children,
Okay.
including the government, including their parents, including the malams, including hospitals. You
Yeah.
understand? We organize twice we organize a workshop kind of where we have like a dialogue, let me put it this way, where we have invited some of these people that are close to those emerging schools that we have done our campaign in. We had a talk that this is the gap that we've noticed and how do we come together to try and solve the issue. I think at the hospitals they mentioned that they hardly see this emerging comes to them. But then it was noticed, you understand, it was
Yes.
agreed that okay, you should give access to it. We say free
Health
health
services.
services. Like in Ochi, I know that we have this government project with donor organizations and funding it that you have free, you understand,
Yes.
healthcare for certain age, the pregnant women and the nursing women, etc. So we said, okay, so it's their right. They belong to this category of children. You should give them free access to those services. And they agree. You get it. Then the malams that are even not allowing them access those facilities.
Wow.
We
So
spoke
okay,
to
so we
them.
have the malams
The
that actually.
malams are the ones, if you ask them, the beliefs. I had a research that I even published it. It's about the sources of information about the health issues. You
Yeah.
understand? Anything they know about health, where do they get those information? Because they were telling us stories about how they treat their own diseases, like
They
taking
use
something for
herbal, yes.
malaria, do you get it, or even this using some verses, you understand, writing those verses
In
and
water and
drinking,
drinking it.
etc. So we have to talk
Enlighten
to
them. So there's a
the
need for
malams,
enlightenment
for the
there.
malams, yes, that okay, these people, these things that you're saying, yes, maybe it's your belief, do you understand? But there are structures on ground to give access to these people. You need to understand that there are actually suspicious, what you call, beliefs that are harmful beliefs. Do you understand?
Yes.
So you need to get rid of those things and then allow these children have access. And then the parents, we try to reach out to some of these parents, especially civil society organizations like us, and also there's what they call world development committees who are residing in community grassroots communities You to talk to them to discourage these parents sending their children to elementary schools. Even if you do send them, they should like kind of do follow-ups, you
Yes.
understand, with them visits at least, and provide them with their necessities, and then check on them, their health, etc. Talk to them, listen to them, hear them speak. If they have issues, not only about health, at least they should be there for them. So, and then plus our publications, I wrote, personally wrote articles about imageries, you understand, trying to create awareness around it and talking to the stakeholders that we have a responsibility for these children, not only their parents, the government,
Yes.
the general community, you understand. If you see things not happening the right way, it's the right way, it is your responsibility
To correct
to
it.
correct it. So we don't just allow these people take children out there and sending them without knowing. And then you have this organization actually fighting so hard the parents, the Form 1, etc. You report, if they don't actually want it, you report them to them and they take it
Wow.
from there. Yes.
Okay.
So we do enlighten the stakeholders, not only the
Healthcare, yeah.
managers or the healthcare providers or the parents, even the government. We pay visits to chairmen, FGS, tell them, introduce ourselves and tell them this is what is happening, this is what we noticed with so school and so school. Sometimes we provide them with some helps, you understand. And then when Madam Nasir Rafai in Kaduna State introduced that, I was so happy about it. I knew that there were so many calls to
Yes.
stop um this practice, and alhamdulillah, even though some of them actually came back, oh, it has
It has
reduced.
reduced as
Yes,
compared to
yes.
before. Okay, the previous year, I think was it 2020, we discovered it was on the media. A lot of Almajiri schools were more like prison houses. You
Yeah.
see Almajiri children being chained up,
Mm.
some being turned into, like, they look so scary.
Mm.
So at what point do we draw the line in child discipline for Almajiris and child abuse for Almajiris?
Yeah, unfortunately, those schools were middle schools, and they are not even categorized as elementary schools. They usually categorize them as rehabilitation kind of schools. You
Okay.
get it, where you have naughty children, and then you take them to these malams. You want them to teach them Quran to
Give
make
them
them.
common sense.
So, unfortunately, you don't even see those children roam around. You
Okay.
understand? You don't see them roaming around
So, but
because
is that an acceptable
it
practice?
is not. It is not, and that's why they were fought. Even police and all are there. In fact, I blame the communities around the schools.
For
They are
keeping
supposed
quiet
to,
and
yeah,
knowing.
something like this is happening, and then it usually do started with the almajiris. I
Yeah.
remember when you have chains with almajiris, even during our time, those almajiris that were naughty, you see the malams eating them and putting this, they call it mari, it's chains, you understand?
Yes.
So because you did something, you can spend 2 days or 3 days, you understand, chain. So it's not allowed. You don't, even in what do you call parents' house, parents are not supposed to go extreme punishing
With
their
child, yeah.
children, talk less of someone that is being just given a custody of that child. So if it has gone beyond you, you are supposed to take this child to his parents to do the needful. You understand? We have all these centers that do the right thing.
Right,
They don't have to
rehabilitation.
change them,
Yes.
rehabilitation centers. So why? In fact, at the end of the day, some of these people, some of these children were found to have psychological issues
Yeah,
because of
definitely
the
a mental
trauma.
breakdown. Yeah.
So instead of bringing sanity to them, you are even sending them to mental
Mental homes.
so that is it.
Okay, so
Unfortunately.
thank you. Is the rehabilitation or the Almajiri school, is there a time frame? Just like we have in secondary school, you have approximately 6 years to spend in secondary school. Is it the same with the Almajiri school? Is there a year, like if you be in Almajiri school for 3 years and you graduate to something else? Is that a policy or
Unfortunately, no. You go there, you leave the school when you feel like
you are done?
you are done. That's why you have different ages in those schools. You can see as big as a 30-year-old, and then they will tell you that he is also an almajiri, even though they might not call him almajiri because he might be there to help the madam. You understand? Some of them Because the assumption is you're sending your child to go memorize the Quran, and then when he gets done, he comes back. When they will start with the first memorization. I think I asked Ali one time, and he said, "This is my fourth time of memorizing the Quran. Now I'm reading the other books." You understand?
Okay.
So the problem is they don't even have the time, enough time to sit
Memorize.
and do the needful.
So basically, the Almajiri school is to
It's,
memorize
it's to
Quran.
memorize Quran.
So you can actually do that in your
In
home
your
and not
home,
go
you
to the
don't have to
Almajiri
go
school.
to someone's place to be under his custody to do that. We
Okay.
all memorize Quran from our parents'
So how many
house.
months does it take, or how many
It
months
can
did it take you, or
as
years?
smart as you can be. Do you get it? Some people can actually memorize Quran in 1 year. Some can do it in less than that.
So actually, there should actually be like a
They should get
policy,
done.
or
Yeah,
maybe 3 years maximum. You're
that you
done.
are done.
Yeah.
And I think that's the Rogers, Okoracher's kind of system that he was trying